Taiwan was an easy gateway for me to stir their interest in supernatural and superstitious folklores, with the people in the island nation all infatuated with their urban legends and popular ghost stories. There have been long-running supernatural themed TV shows for decades, and even now in various talk shows, I can see them doing topics of the supernatural connotation. In 2024, director John Su, who last made the live-action adaptation of the game Detention, which I had reviewed, would co-wrote a horror comedy, Detention Society, which fused all these urban legends, well-known ghost stories, and superstitions in a single movie that I once described as the Monster Inc. for ghosts. We were introduced to a world where hell or Hades do not exist. Ghosts would wander around in the mortal realm, but needed to sustain their spiritual being when they had offerings be made for them from their loved ones or descendants. Once these remnants disappeared, the spirits will disappear, a well-known plot line from another Pixar movie, Coco. Alternatively, the wandering spirits can carve a name as a megastar scare talent when they created their own urban legend to scare unsuspecting human beings, especially online personality or influencers who could document the scare on their social media platforms, garnering views and expand the popularity or infamy of these urban legends. This was when we would see notable Taiwan urban legends like the Little Red Girl, 红衣小女孩, or the Jade Mountain 魔神仔, the lady that hanged in Zhonghe apartment building, and the ghost from Xinghai 隧道, Xinghai Tunnel. The movie also made acknowledgement to superstition like picking up dubious rape packets, leading to marrying a ghost, as well as some popular hospital scares. For people who have been inculcated with this information through the years of following Taiwanese media, it was quite a thrill to see all this on screen, although it was done all with tongue-in-cheek. There will be a committee that would overlook the system for these scare talents and issue license to allow them to stay on this plane of existence and not be eviscerated. On the pinnacle was Catherine, a ghost who would haunt an infamous room 414 in a worn-down hotel. With her ability to build the mood of a scare and doing the exorcist-style Reagan back arc, she had reigned the Golden Ghost Awards for years. She would foster a newbie by the name of Jessica, who eventually outdid her mentor with her novel style of scaring using social media, like a cursed video clip, and even spread her infamy overseas, where international influencers would watch her video and get really freaked out. Catherine would lose a lot of her luster and bore a grudge over her protege, who was totally bought into her own fame and would treat her mentor in a condescending manner. Then came a rookie portrayed by Ginga Wang from Su's earlier movie Detention, with her friend Camilla, a couple of newly deceased trying to find their niche in this nether world filled with backstabbing and hazing worse than when they were alive. Through unforeseen circumstances, Rookie was at the brink of being disappeared, and she would be in a frantic mode to save herself from fading into smithereens. Being scorned for her lack of scare talent, her fate seems slightly sealed until she met a supposed agent by the name of Makoto, played by the single actor I know from the cast, Chen Boling. Makoto was also the agent of the washed-up Catherine, and he felt that bringing in a rookie might rejuvenate their ailing fates and instill new life to their team. Incorporating Rookie was not an easy task, as Makoto had to convince Catherine and her team, and even Rookie herself. Like all sports team movie, the training part was always the most satisfying, as we saw how the older ghost would impart knowledge to Rookie, and she had a torrid time physically and mentally, creating a persona that fit her own urban legend. As time was not on her side, and Rookie was not a fast learner and receptive to the advice given, was still a fumbling fool at times, Makoto, Catherine, and their team had to go to the extreme measures to lead her to garner fame in the most unimaginable manner, giving her a sparkle of hope. The climatic end would pit Rookie against Jessica, with a lot on the stake in both the world of the living and the dead. Detention Society obviously borrowed the title from Robin Williams' 1989 award-winning drama Dead Poets Society. The Mandarin title was an interesting play of words, which I really enjoyed. 鬼才之道, is translated as the way of a ghostly talent, but if you just utter the same 4 words in the same enunciation, it was a common phrase people would use when being asked some questions they could not fathom and answer. 鬼才知道, only ghosts will know. When I first watched the trailer, on the surface it looked like a wacky comedy which made use of the supernatural theme and some lukewarm Taiwanese celebrities to pique interest in cinema goers in their domestic market. The plot was much more than just a madcap comedy, which itself worked like a treat. There were backstories to the likes of Catherine and Makoto, and even supporting characters like Camilla. But it was the nuanced telling of the background of Rookie that really distanced this movie to just a run-of-the-mill horror comedy from Asia. When Yinge Wang played Fang Racing in Detention, she was a young lady who had a lot of emotional baggage from the people at home and in school. In the arid prohibition era for Taiwan, Racing had to struggle with her inhibitions for the entirety of the movie. The same happened here for Yinge Wang's Rookie, which although it was wholly different time period and of different context. As audience, we had a heartfelt glimpse into her childhood to a point she was tragically taken away from her family. She had been striving to prove something to her parents, especially her loving father, which dictated her actions for the latter half of the movie. The whole emotional subplot was not jarring and really made Rookie, who otherwise was a bit dull to begin with, a character to sympathize with. As mentioned, the training montage was on point and the haunting procedural was something I liked. For someone who had been dabbling with a bit of paranormal investigations, seeing how the ghosts manipulated the live streamers was hilarious, especially I can envision myself in their shoes. The fact that the ghosts constantly fumbling as roadblocks and hiccups came in fast and furious also added to the manic flow of the movie. Detention Society won the Audience Award and the Best Director for John Su in the 19th edition of Fantastic Fest. The movie also picked up several awards in the 61st Golden Horse Awards. Therefore, critically, it was doing very well. This spoke well again for John Su, who showed that he is canny enough to infuse other genres into horror filmmaking from his first 2 features. Detention Society demonstrated a vibrant film filled with enthusiasm and energy from the filmmakers, and do try to catch it now on Netflix to see if the movie worked for you as well as it did for me. And if you have any remote interest in Chinese superstitions and had some knowledge of urban legends in Taiwan, this is definitely a movie for you. This is an easy 8.5 out of 10 for me. As you can see, I'm loading up more Asian horror content on this channel, so please click the like button if you think I should continue to do so. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Speaking of Asian content, please catch the recent Asian Trips feature as I looked into 3 Sammo Hong's Kung Fu horror comedy that fostered a fad in the Hong Kong cinematic scene during the 1980s. Like Jessica, if I'm to build a haunting persona in the underworld, I will likely go into the cursed video route with some seamless editing, escalate the fear factor, and then appeared as the piece de resistance.